heard that Boldy James album?
I did.
Fire.
Always.
Classic.
Always, man. Boldy is like, man, it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time before he's getting his just due. But people like him don't generally cut through first because he's unapologetically him. He's one of those people who he did what I was just telling you about at a younger age. He found that self-defining moment. He knows exactly who he is, and he knows how to verbalize that. And he's everything that he says he is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's a rarity.
I asked him, I'm like, you know, you're the only rapper who's like putting out an album and their Instagram's on private. And he's just basically like, man, I lost the password. I can't find the password. I don't really give a fuck.
And he's telling the truth. That's
a critical way of you promoting your album, just for the record. But
that's Bodie, bro.
I understand.
That's Bodie, bro. And Bodie is somebody, he can come. He just came to my studio a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And he come to the studio. We never get music done because he just starts talking, and that's it. Just let him talk. Him, Bodie, and DJ Premier are two of my favorite people to talk to.
Really?
In the business, because I don't have to do a lot of talking. They do most of the talking, and I'm always highly entertained by whatever they're talking about.
Yeah, you need those people in your life.
Yes, yes.
Because a lot of people, some people have just that automatic monologue. You walk into a room with them, and they just start telling you whatever it is. Like some of the dudes in my girl's family, she's like Armenian. I mean, you walk into the room, and they just start telling you every single thing that there is to say about their business or whatever. And sometimes forces me to think, like, I got a lot of interesting shit that I could be talking about to all kinds of random people, but here I am keeping it to myself.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah.
It's like an old soul type thing when you realize that there's certain people who are not so focused on their career that they're just airing out whatever the fuck they feel like talking about. Like you might be a little too busy if you're veering away from those conversations.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I love those dudes though, man. I love those dudes.
Definitely. What made you on that same song we're talking about that with the Yellow Wolf reference? What made you want to stand for Cash Doll and just let it know that she's fire?
Well, the fact that I think she's fire, and it's a Detroit thing where I feel like we need to support each other a little bit more, especially when it's something that wouldn't be expected. I don't think people would expect me to stand behind her like that, and people aren't used to seeing us stand behind each other like that. And I had never met her before. I had never met her before. And I just wanted to show her that I support her, and I wanted to show the world that I support her, you know. And I do that with a lot of different artists in Detroit in a lot of different ways. You know what I mean? And I just feel like it's kind of like my job to do that.
I'm going to be honest, I probably would have never listened to her if I hadn't heard them talk about her on Joe's podcast so much. Mm-hmm.
Good.
They're always clowning on Maul, acting like Maul is like a huge fan of her or whatever.
He in love with her behind
that made me be like, all right, I got to go listen to this, see what this is all about. Yeah.
Yeah, but she fired though, man. She's fired. She's fired. And then, you know, she's thorough. You know what I'm saying? Like I heard about her a long time before, you know, everybody else did in the world. You know what I mean? Like just locally, she had a reputation for just getting money. You know what I mean? Like she's thorough. She's a thoroughbred. So I feel like somebody that authentic needs to be supported, because the way she represents Detroit, she represents us well. You know what I mean? So she's a good spokesperson to be out in the forefront. So
it's a beautiful thing. When you said that the only Gucci you fuck with is Radrick Davis, one, have you previously spoken on your admiration for Gucci before? And number two, what is it that still got you tied closely to the Gucci boycott per se?
Well, I mean, I don't know Gucci Mane like that. I don't have that much of an admiration for him. Okay. You know what I'm saying? It's just when you say Gucci, he's who I think of. You know what I mean? He exists. He exists to me because he's good at what he does. You know what I mean? He's authentic, and I like what he does.
I like what he represents right now.
There
As
you
a massive long-term fan, but also when you look at him right now and you're like, wow, that is a guy who not only seems to be at a great place in his life, but is communicating that through his fitness.
Good.
Like, crazy.
Yes. And I'm definitely a fan of that. And, you know, Gucci, listen, I operate under the edict. You're guilty until you're proven innocent when it comes to that. What Gucci did, they're guilty. And I'm not so forgiving with that. I'm not so forgiving. I didn't get a sorry or nothing like that. I'm not going to be protesting, and I'm not going to be outraged. I'm just not going to support, and that's my right as a previous consumer. there was a point in time where everything I wore was Gucci, and all I did was promote that.
Right.
I called myself the Gooch on Twitter. Everything I wore was Gucci. I was dressed really ugly,
Right.
but still, everything I wore was Gucci, and then Gucci was like my thing. So, when they did that, it stung.
It might be easier to give them a pass if they had been fucking with all the rappers who were supporting them for like the last 40 years.
Yeah,
You know?
true. But I mean, it's cool. I'm not like mad at them or nothing. I'm not like, I would never go into the Gucci store. I still wear some of my Gucci glasses. I'm not like scarred for life or anything like that. But it's like, I'm just making the decision as a consumer to, like take my money somewhere else. I want to put my money somewhere where it's appreciated, man.
Right. Yeah, and it's honestly like the decision to not be constantly buying, $800 sneakers and $3,000 hoodies and shit. It's not that hard of a decision to make. It's actually a pretty easy decision to make if they give you a little bit of a reason.
It is. I saved a lot of money making that decision.
I believe it. How did you connect with G Perico and Vince Staples to do that one song? Is that the most West Coast song you made in a while?
Yeah, YB and Corday was originally on it instead of Vince.
Wow. Where did the decision to swap them out come from? And was that a Dre connection?
Mike Karen from Atlantic.
Whoa, he didn't want him on it.
I don't know. I know it was just at the end of the day, we couldn't clear him. We couldn't clear him at the end of the day. So G Perico is somebody who I just reached out to because I was a fan.
He's great.
He's new. I'm a fan. He has a Jerry curl.
He does, yes.
And I think that's the most incredible thing. I'm like, why didn't somebody think about that?
You look at him with the Jerry curl, you're like, why doesn't everybody have a Jerry curl? That's a great hairstyle.
That's fucking crazy.
You look
so
great.
I'm like, so that voice and the way he just approaches the beat, the pockets that he uses, I love that kid. You know what I mean? So I was like, I'm gonna work with him. You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna wait till he blows up. I'm gonna work with him because I want to work with him. I'm gonna work with him because I think we can make a good song.
Right.
I don't think enough artists do that. So I reached out to him. When we lost YB and Corday, which was heartbreaking, I reached out to Vince on a whim. You know what I mean? I've always been a fan of Vince. I always loved Vince. You know what I mean? But I didn't know if I'd be able to get him in such a it was like a time crunch. It was like we sent it to him and he had like a couple day window to do it, man, and he got it done for me. You know what I'm saying? Like big shout out to Vince. I love Vince.
That's
you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's incredible. Okay, last thing I want to ask about that I was supposed to ask in the beginning is this the skits or the audio clips that you keep using of the father sort of teaching his daughter about life. Where did that come from, and is that kind of the theme that you wanted to project upon what this project was, is that you were sort of arming people for their life experience on the way? Yeah,
but I'm arming people, and it's a guy named Derek Grace.
Okay.
Derek Grace, you may have seen him. He's kind of big. He's kind of big dude with the tattoos all over his face.
Oh, okay.
Very, very informed. Okay, so that dude, what those skits taught me, and I told him this when I called him to see if we can get it cleared. I thanked him for inspiring me to look for those teachable moments with my kids. He didn't necessarily inspire me to teach my kids how to use, weapons, but he inspired me to find those teachable moments because my dad was a very good disciplined guy. You know what I mean? He was very good at disciplining and reprimanding, and letting us know when we did things that were wrong, But I think there's a flip side to that. You know what I mean? I think that there's not enough moments where we're looking to teach, where there's no kind of disciplining going on. It's just teaching. It's just teaching, you know what I mean? And there was a long period of time where I just assumed that my son knew things. And usually he didn't know. So I had to tell myself, check myself, like if I didn't teach him, why would I just assume he would know? So I have to teach him, just like with my daughters. I let her teach them, like certain things that they need to know about being a woman. I let her teach them, and certain things that Royce, my son, needs to know about being a man. It's my job to teach him, So I got a lot out of him just teaching his kids and just how astute they were to detail and just listening to everything that he had to say. It's like he got little robots, you know what I'm saying? I love that. I love it. So, I felt like I wanted to use it, and I just put music under it, kept it pushing.
No, it's so true. It's like not just your kids, even just the people who are around you. It's very easy to forget that a lot of the basic lessons that you now consider basic about business, about how to carry yourself, the kind of jewels that you could give somebody that might just be like a quotable that might just stick in the side of their fucking head just because you are who you are and you're stepping to them and giving them a piece of advice. I mean, that's infinitely valuable, and it's very easy to sort of get into the mentality of assuming that everybody else is on all the same shit that you're on.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, man. I 100% agree with that, man. Yeah. So I mean, and two, just with my kids, you know, this dude with his kids, I was listening to and watching those videos for a long time, and it was something when we were doing the album where I just was like, you know what? I wonder if I can put some music under this. You know what I'm saying? And I tried it. I loved the way that it sounded, and it started to add to the theme, and I just kind of went with it. You know what I mean? I just let it flow.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing. Did you, the Rhinestone Durag's not actually as easy to Google as I think you probably assumed it was.
You never saw the Rhinestone Durag?
It was like a meme for a while, just sort of.
You never saw the Rhinestone Durag?
But there was an old photo of you in a Rhinestone Durag?
Yes.
Yes. That's,
Plenty.
I remember it. I just had a harder time Googling it the other day.
Well, maybe I certainly don't have anything to do with it. With it not being on the internet, I didn't go and say, "Yo, get this snatched down from the internet." You know, it's part of my past. I embrace it. I'm not even embarrassed by it anymore. But that's the Rhinestone Durag turned into a thing now. So it's bigger than just the durag itself. It's that thing that we do as younger artists where we're just being accepting. The Rhinestone Durag came from me thinking that I needed a stylist. They told me that I needed a stylist. All artists have stylists. So I thought I needed a stylist, and then she came through and she suggested the Rhinestone Durag. And I said, okay.
Yeah.
And then I didn't realize until years later how stupid it looked. looking at it in retrospect, you know what I mean?
But compare that to just all the dumb fashion trends throughout all of history, and you know, there's an extent to which you know that a lot of the stuff that's popular right now is just going to look stupid as fuck in a few years, and you could try to gravitate towards more classic looks. Like I don't think in a couple of years we're going to think that your suit looks crazy right now.
Yeah, but the Rhinestone Durag never was an in thing.
It never really worked even at the time. I believe that.
It never was an end thing, bro. It was just my own stupid little thing that I did. It never was a cool thing, bro.
I feel like a lot of rappers have had the moment where they have to learn from the stylist experience. Because there was that thing with J. Cole where he went to an awards show and he was wearing the same Versace hoodie as 3 other people. And that was like a huge thing for him where he's like, I don't want to be wearing the same fucking sweatshirt as everybody else. Like, this is just not me.
That shit scarred Cole for life because he just you could tell he just don't even wear name brands.
Nike Tech ever since. That's real.
Yo, what's up? This is Royce the 5'9". Thank you for watching. If you like this clip, make sure you check out the rest of the interview at nojumper.com.